Carl Delgado, Dan Shields, Kelsey Nicola, Sandoval, Francisco Cordero.
What here?
He was here. Okay. Lenora Ventura. Okay, members, seeing that we have quorum, first order of business. What I'd like to do is Mary Hodge, our new neighborhood council member, would like to serve on this committee, so I'm going to replace Mr. Cordero with Mary Hodge as a serving member on this committee. Mr. Cordero has other committees that he's involved with, and this would be Mary Hodge committee. Any opposition? No? Okay, welcome to the committee, Mary. Okay, any public comments on non-agenda items? Any public comments on non-agenda items? Seeing none, public comments.
Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item follow, please.
Yeah, I think I can't speak for Issa K, but I certainly can voice concern that I've noticed. Very often, both committees and the board discuss, it's presented on the agenda as one thing. Then you ask for public comments, and the public gives its comment based on the fact that that agenda item has not changed, and that's it. What happens then is you'll make a motion to change and adjust the figures, change and adjust things, and what you're really looking at is a new item within roughly the context of what you originally said. And when the public wants to then comment on this new agenda item as it has been reshaped by the committee or the board, then you'll say, public comments are over. No public comments. You had 2 minutes to talk, you should have talked. Yes, we did. We talked out of good faith. It is basically, you have changed the item. How do we know, in the name of transparency, you all knew via a serial meeting that y'all were going to change it, and then brought it in because y'all didn't want to handle public comments? This is really valid. And I would ask you that when you change the agenda item in any way and reshape it in any other way, that you do allow for the public to comment again. It is only fair, it is only transparent.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Okay, public comment is closed. Members, any reports from any of the committee members? Okay, seeing none. First item of business, item D, number 1, discussion and or possible action on GEPENC outreach projects. Item A, GEPENC support of the Trailer Trash celebration of Woody Guthrie's 100-year birthday in Echo Park. We have a... Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. George Prado moved.
Second.
Second by me. Okay, we do have a presentation on this.
Thank you. My name is Lydia Green. I'm with the Trailer Trash Project, which is an arts organization that presents concerts and exhibits and other events, puppet shows outside of a vintage trailer. We're proposing an event this summer on July 14th and 15th. July 14th is Woody Guthrie's 100th birthday, and we would like to have a tribute concert for him at Echo Park. And we're hoping that you all can give us some help finding a venue, proposing some outreach, and helping us just make it be relevant to the community. In the event, we would have a concert, an exhibit about Woody Guthrie and his life in Los Angeles, specifically in the Echo Park neighborhood. So it would be a concert, an exhibit. We'd like to have a picnic, if only just for the kids, or a picnic in general, bike ride, just have a good time. Anything else I should say?
And then in our conversation, we had discussed the possibility of doing a film screening and or a possible Filipino UFW farm worker photo exhibit.
So, I'm sorry, I discussed it a little bit in the previous meeting. Woody, when he was here in Echo Park, he was familiarizing himself a lot with the conditions in the fields and in the factories for workers, not just for his own people, the Okies who came here from the Dust Bowl, but for all people. And so this was the time he was sort of broadening his understanding of working and living conditions for people in Los Angeles. So we would like to kind of draw on that theme for our event. And it comes at the time, perhaps Lisa, you could help me a little bit, it comes at the time of the Lotus Festival, and you could perhaps help me explain what the idea was.
Okay, Mr. Segala.
Just committee members wanted to present what we did just a little while ago through the budget committee, so you have a better context of what you may want to discuss. The budget committee had this item on their agenda, and we approved the recommendation to the board to allocate $500 from our general outreach fund that we have in our budget. And the funding would go towards working with Ms. Breen and her committee to provide general support of the event. We talked a little bit about the idea of doing it on the weekend of July 14th and 15th, which is the weekend of the Lotus Festival that's going to happen here in the parking lots that weekend. So the idea would be for the trailer to be brought somewhere in that area that weekend. So I just want to let you know that, so the committee is going to recommend to the board that we provide the funding, and that we are going to work closely with Ms. Breen to see what's the best use of that funding. We didn't get specifically as to $10 for this, $50 for that. We do know there are some things that she's going to need in order to have a successful event, and we definitely know this event is going to cost more than $500. And so we are going to work with her to make sure the neighborhood council gets some credit in the flyers and things that are going to be put out, with perhaps some more guidance from this committee as to what's the best way to reach out, more logistics. But just know that we are going to be recommending the $500 to support. All right, thank you.
Is there any other public comment on this item? Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none. Board members, any discussion on this? Any ideas? Mr. Prado.
I think that this should be brought to the Lotus Festival board to make sure that they do not want to expand their own project for themselves, because they have a permit for the closure of this, the parking lots already. So,
Could you help us getting a meeting with Leo Pendak? Would you mind?
I'm also got to screw myself in voting on this item.
You're on the committee?
I'm on the committee.
Okay, so maybe next week we can, okay. Let me just catch it. Okay, another discussion?
Well, I'm definitely in favor of it, and, you know, I moved in this neighborhood a long time. I didn't know that Woody Guthrie ever lived here. There are a lot of people who are social activists who live in our community, and I'm sure that they will really relate to this really well. In fact, I'm going to call Art Goldberg and ask him to work with me to promote it, and generally so people in the area know that it's going to be happening, and also know that he lived here. I didn't know that he lived here.
Yes, on Preston and Ewing.
Actually, I want to bring something to your attention. I don't know if you know about the two movies that were made about him. There's one where there's actually no mention of Echo Park, but it's out on black and white. They haven't put it on DVD, so it's still VHS. So
This week at the Guthrie Museum, they're having a series of films starting today about his life. So I'm going to go see some of them, and hopefully we might find one that we could show along with another film about conditions in the fields for migrant workers.
well, I went and did a research after you came last month, and I found it. So
Thank you.
Okay. To follow up on the suggestion of reaching out to Art Goldberg, I think we should create like a list, because there's also Ruth Beagle I'm sure Essential, the Pueblo, Sandra, Figueroa. I mean, there's a whole group that we should make a hit list just to let advisory, an ad hoc advisory social activist task force. Okay. All right, well, I'll send you what I got, and then we can maybe circulate it, at least to help with the outreach. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of support?
Hold on.
Okay. Let the record reflect George Prado recused himself. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, perfect. Moving on into item D1B, GEPENC support for the 2012 Lotus Festival on July 14th and 15th. Do you want to move this?
I'll move.
Anybody want a second? Okay. Anybody here to present on the Lotus Festival? Mr. Segala, was anything brought through the,
No, we continue the item
you continue the item
to May.
to May?
But Mr. Prado may have more information.
Could Mr. Prado, just point of clarification, could he serve as a member of the public to do a presentation on the details?
You bring it up as a committee member.
Oh, okay.
And then you went to the restaurant.
George,
Go ahead.
can you get him?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Mr. Prado, can you just present, we're not going to vote, but can you give a little more details on the Lotus Festival since the item was presented to the Budget Committee?
Actually, the Lotus Festival is set for the second week, it's always set for the second weekend of July. They are going to still do it this year, even though it's going to be smaller. And they do it at the two parking lots right here. And they already have the city permit for that, so as far as what's going to entice and what's going to be on it, we don't have the details yet. We're going to depend on the vendors and the artists that want to come in, so we're still working on that.
Okay.
Which two parking lots, Clerk? This one right here, or the one, the further one? All, both.
So it's hard to close between. That's the one they had to get the permit for.
Okay, so
They're not gonna close Echo Park and they're not gonna close, Des Moines. They're just gonna close, one.
can I ask you for a favor for the next meeting then in May? Do you think Mr. Pandek would be able to come to do a presentation?
I can request it, but it'd be nicer if we got requested from the executive board. So we should put this over to executive board and have executive board go ahead and ask you.
Okay, okay. Okay, any conversation from any public comment from the public?
Yes. I believe that taping by the public of a meeting is a given matter, and however, if the board tapes, then the board needs to make it clear that it is taping. Is Mr. Segala here in the capacity of a president, or is he in the capacity of a stakeholder? Because I am definitely confused. He has been taping and recording matters and being ambiguous about it. You need to clarify it if y'all are using taping these meetings. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment on this item? Any other public comment on the Lotus Festival item? Any other public comment on the Lotus Festival item? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Members, is there any further discussion on this? I'd like to continue it to May since, or we've supported this item every year. It's the 27th, so if we could
I would just say that I think it's important that we support it,
Okay.
and particularly because the lake is shut down. I think it's really important for people in our community there'll be something, continuity is maintained on this. So I think it's great that people are adapting to the shutdown.
Okay, so, Fuzzy, since you moved this item, can I amend it to be supporting of it? And Van, would you second that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make the motion to support the Lotus Festival. All those in favor?
Aye.
And I let the record reflect that George Prada did not vote and he recused himself. All right. Good. Members, item 2, discussion under possible action on request for the committee to recommend the allocation of neighborhood council funds for outreach material collaterals and projects.
So moved.
Anybody second? Okay. Anybody have any ideas? Do you want to do a postcard for the Lotus? I mean, is there any ideas on?
Actually, we don't have any flyers or any folders that we have left from the prior neighborhood council. I think we should come up with one for ourselves. We have an event coming up on the 16th. We have the Lotus Festival. We have the anniversary for Woody Creek. We have Christmas and Thanksgiving, open houses and everything. And our supplies of any type of outreach material is dwindled to almost nothing.
Okay.
And it's outdated for one thing. So I think we should go ahead and not only do that, also we don't have a banner to put on front of our tables, maybe and showing a new GEPENC logo and everything else for any booth that we get free events or the Lotus festivals. We need one for that. So I think that's a given. Say that should be number one is the outreach. People say that we don't outreach, so that shouldn't be much of a debate from the public or anybody else about spending money on that. Plus, we also allocated it when we allocated the money for $1,500 for outreach material. So.
Mr. Lala?
Thank you. I believe that y'all allocated $1,000 or so for 3 banners several months ago so that y'all could use it and carry it around. I believe that y'all also spent $1,000 on 3 tents for things. So y'all do have materials. I also think that sometimes this use of the term collateral, what exactly do you mean collateral? I think you need to elaborate and you need to explain it. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment on this item? Any other public comment? Public comment is closed. Members, we now have the logo that has been factorized or whatever they do to make it so that we can blow it up. The same company who did the banner for Sunset is giving us a price quote to complete the banners that we already have approved. It's a city approved vendor, so as soon as I can get that within the budget, we'll have that. From the event on the 16th, we do have funds available to do a 10th anniversary that will release the week after we do that, so we can drop in some of the pictures from the event that we're doing at Tays. And we're just going to duplicate as many as we can get from the art copies for the $1,000. So we'll have new newsletters for that. So our banners should be in place by hopefully the end of May. The newsletter should drop at the end of April. And then as far as designing a new brochure, we can do that if you want on a. I have a. It's not city printed. I mean, we can probably do something that's Xerox. I have a program that you can do the 3-folds. We have permission to use the photo from Martin Cox that we use on our website. So I can use that as our photo if you'd like, with our logo, the new logo.
Doesn't matter, I mean,
Okay.
doesn't have to be fancy, but also there's companies out there that let you do the artwork for free.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Vista print.
Yeah.
And you can get 10 made for free and then make copies of those.
Okay.
So
Have you used Bristol Print?
I use it for everything. All our equipment for the chambers done through everything, and most of it is free.
It's free, okay, I'll look into that. So,
Take the design first and make the copies.
yeah.
So they give you a limit on how many you want, but the problem is once you
All we
have
need is one.
the artwork, you
Right.
can make as many copies as you want off of it.
Okay,
You send it to the printer and have them copy it.
yeah, just like, we used to use one for the city that they printed, and we probably have less than 200 of those left, we related them and stuff, and it's kind of, but because we spent so much money to print them, we use well, the big one is our Lotus Festival. Right. That's the big one in the summer, July 14th, 15th, so we have a little time. There's nothing really major planned between now and the Lotus Festival, so we need to get this done. So at the next meeting, we'll bring back the proof. Okay. Okay, that takes us to item number D3, discussion and/or possible action relative to neighborhood public safety concerns. Does anybody have any items on this? Okay.
There's
Wait a minute, let's move and second it. Mr. Prado, you'll move. Second Dan. Okay, Mr. Prado?
There's a FEMA emergency response plan ready for business. Plan that's being put out. I have a copy of it here. I think we should make it available to all people in the area. And also a personal FEMA itemizer list, because insurance companies can only pay you back when anything you have proof for and itemized in a list. If you don't, good luck, because you never, even though you may have proof that it's not broken or falling apart, they're going to pay you back on that. So my advice to the council would be to make this available to whoever wants it. I have a copy of here and I can forward it to you. Plus for the neighborhood council to join Emergency Network Los Angeles. Emergency Network Los Angeles has got different organizations and nonprofits in the network of not only training but also first emergency warnings. They did it with the power outage. They did it with the water main break that they had on the west side. Every couple hours I was getting updates on that through Nixle. So it was telling me if we have anybody that is going that way, the streets not to drive, what areas are blocked out. It affected a lot of the traffic in the city of LA, and if we had it with the neighborhood council, when we make a report for the public safety and outreach committee, we can always bring whatever the outreaches or whatever required street closures, stuff like that. Because those street closures, in case of an emergency, become even bigger.
What was it called?
Emergency Network Los Angeles. For nonprofits and
ENLA?
right. And
Are they on the web?
organizations that do not make over $50,000 a year, it's $50 a year. Anybody who makes $100,000 plus is $100, but those $100 go for them to maintain the website, maintain the emergency plus Nixle. I don't know if you guys know what Nixle is. It's an emergency response.
I don't. Does anybody know what Nixle is?
Nixle is an emergency response system that is done by LAPD, LA Fire, most police departments around the city and county of LA, and LA County Fire. What they do whenever there's a, you get on the computer, you get on the website of LAPD, sheriffs, or LA Fire, and you put the zip codes that you want to be Nixled on. So you don't want to have your phone going or your computer going out for everything that happens in the city. You put your zip codes that you want in there, and when everything happens in the zip codes, you get a email blast, and you get also a warning on your cell phone that you look up your email. So for me, it's helping because people want to call me to find out what's going on when she's close and stuff like that. So for me, it's helped me be able to tell at least what's going on. They see LAPD or they fire in the streets, especially with something large.
They got this has been going through my mind for a long time. I see them all over the street still. Before they all go away, now we got all these emergencies coming up. Everybody's talking about. Let's get these alert sirens to go off again.
They were considered a nuisance.
I know.
And they were considered only for bombing or large emergency.
Yeah.
But there's only 8 of them that are
There's
still
like
up.
There's 4 of them right around this neighborhood.
Everything, 4 of the last ones. There's one in Bunker Hill that they never took it out because they made it a historical point. Yeah.
Where?
Yes. Right near the corner too, so.
I like to see those things go out in case of an emergency.
Well,
If everybody, a lot of people don't got computers.
yeah, but they have to test it, and that testing may throw people off. And there's people that are hard of hearing and stuff like that, so people gotta get used to. I brought that up about an emergency callback 911 system like they have in other cities and other counties, and they went against it because it's the cost.
Yeah.
It's the cost. The city callback 911 number, reverse 911, it affects the areas where it is, and they're thinking about seeing if the city, the county or the feds pay for it, because they are paying for it in other areas, but New York does it automatically. And they should do it. Because if you see your phone ringing and if you're hard of hearing or hard of sight, there's other ways.
Well, everybody got that tsunami and Japan and all them other counties and
You get those on the Nixle, you get them on, if you get a.
You watch those things back over in New Orleans and stuff, it gives them a warning.
Oh, yeah, it'd be great. How do you get the Nixle? Go into the LA, if you want it from LAPD, go to the LAPD website, and then you go ahead to their public alerts, and they'll tell you Nixle, and then you put your information in there for your cell phone, your computer, your email, and then you put in the zip codes that you want your Nixle about.
And it's free.
It's free.
Is there any public comment on this item? Any public comment on this item? Any public comment on this item? Okay, see none. Public comment is closed. Members, do we need to take a vote on this?
What's that question, please? A vote for us to sign up for?
Yeah. Just to reiterate, motion that I understood it from Mr. Fines was to take the FEMA plans for business and take the FEMA plans for personal, and then are they copyrighted? Could GEPENC maybe put our logo on it and then redistribute and broadcast it out to every district, everybody free, so they can either download it or we can make copies or get it distributed so people can create their own plans, and then join the ENLA, Emergency Network of Los Angeles network. No, it's all the same one. And then also distribute information on how people can access the LAPD Nixle. I'm assuming that's NIXL?
NIXLE.
LE. So if it's okay with you, what we'll do is do a press release and at the same time advise Nixle and then maybe download from the website.
Okay, on the FEMA, the one for business is called Ready Business.
Okay.
On the personal, it's called Just Ready. I do have a copy of it here. It says emergency supply to FEMA, and they have one that tells you the items, itemize whatever you need on it. It gives you an itemizing list. And then on the Ready Business, they give you not only a policy and organizational statement, but also a detailed plan of what you should know about your lockdown plans in case of a riot or anything like that, medical emergency plan, hazards and threat specifics, public emergency and service contractors, and fire protection system. So it touches everything that it can get into.
Okay, is this one big packet or is this one?
It's one big package.
One big
It's,
one. Okay.
So this is a great, distribute the came at Nixle, if we join Nixle, what are we going to do?
It's personal.
Okay, so we're just,
Oh,
we're just
yeah.
promoting for people to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That is
We
something
join Nixle.
personal. As a neighborhood council,
Well, I
it's
think, yeah.
it's choice whether how many members of the committee or anybody who wants to do it, do it.
Oh,
I'm not saying that the whole neighborhood council has to
Gotcha.
join it because can't force anybody to have be receiving calls on emergencies. I think it's a wise decision
Yeah.
because if you serve the public, we should be able to, if they call us at home or they call us on our phone, we should be able to tell them what's going on.
Okay, all those,
I don't know how it currently operates, but can we post something up on our website?
And we can copy that.
yeah. Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
I had a question.
Wait, we have one more thing. Is this about 3 or is this about 4? 3, okay.
Yeah. What's the action on there? Are we gonna duplicate that?
We can duplicate it and pass it out as a public effort to make people aware, or we can post people the website and have them go in there and get it themselves.
Yeah.
When we do that, if we don't do both, people sometimes take ignorance
Right.
and they don't do it, and then when something happens, they come back, how come we didn't tell them?
But what about possible? Just to bring it.
Well, I think what I could do is I have a scanner.
Sure.
I could drop in our logo, scan it, put it as a PDF on the website. I could do a press
Yeah.
release with the link to
And tell
them, the
people to
link
go
to
on our
us.
website and how.
And then we do have some money still left in the Xerox scene. I mean, I haven't seen the document, but we can maybe Xerox back to back.
I think we should make it available in hard
Yeah,
copy.
in hard
because
copy.
a
I
lot
mean, we
of
have
people
the board here.
really still are not plugged into
Yeah,
the internet and so forth, or we don't really know how to navigate on.
I think
So, I think we have
we
hard
can
copies
put it in
there.
our distribution here. if we want to. Yeah, okay.
Have people available. There's something that I think the local business, they should be able to afford to download their own thing.
Yeah.
And actually, it lets you fill it out on the computer. So when you fill it out and print it out, everything's already on there in the form, so that's the best part.
I just had to ask for you because lately I've been really tied up with fighting for toilet papers all over. Okay, and so I have lost track of a lot of stuff. With the training for the emergency preparedness that's already started, hasn't it?
Start March.
I think you're the,
But they do have that staggered schedule, right?
Yeah.
I want to sign up, but
one
I.
starts right now.
Okay, and I have another issue, which I don't know if this is the point to raise it, but for myself, I have to leave town next week and will probably be gone, I will be gone for at least 3 weeks, maybe as much as 6, because my mother's having major heart surgery and I'm going to have a lot of complications afterwards I have to help her with.
Okay.
She was on the East Coast. So
We
I
have
will
one.
be gone for a while, but when I get back, I do want to get into that training, and I also want to let folks on the committee, on our council know that I need to be gone physically from the area for a while,
Okay.
which I apologize to participate.
Item D4, discussion and or possible action relative to neighborhood community concerns. Is there anything on this? Do we need a motion? Do we need to discuss anything on this? Okay, we'll continue that.
At a later, when I get back in town, I would like to bring some stuff to our committee in regard both to the foreclosure question and also in regard to this campaign that's going on to generate green jobs to the Department of Water and Power. I think it's something that our council needs to be involved in because it's a very concrete job creation program, which is going on now. And we need to get on the ground floor because basically what's happening is DWP, 40% of their workforce is going to be retiring within the next 3.5 to 4 years. And in that job conversion process, a lot of neighborhood groups around the city are involved in setting up a hiring and training process for energy conversion connected with that. So we need to know about that. We need to let people in our neighborhood know.
Oh, to add to that,
Wait. Let's move then forward to item E, future committee agenda items, and I'll just take your comments to E.
no, I want to add to that, DWP and the gas company is also doing a low-income gas power saving survey in your home for free. As long as you meet the state code requirement, age or income requirement, they come in and they do all the revamping of the weatherizing, changing your washing or drying machine if they're older than 2004. So what they're doing right now is making people more energy conscious about it, and most of it is everything is free done for you if you qualify. The first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to deal with the gas company or the Department of Water and Power, and they'll come in and check your water usage, how they can change your water heater, your faucets, the aerators, everything in your house. And now they have that no water tank heating system for water, which saves those 10, 15 gallons that you have to maintain water heated all the time. Not only saves water, but it also saves gas.
Yeah.
So that's a big plus.
How do we pursue that though? I mean, how do we
I'm
get,
getting a call, DWP or the gas company, and tell them you want
but
to.
how do we get the information out to the CFO?
Well,
They
that's
don't
what I
know
want to
first.
do is bring
Yeah.
what I got at home.
Yeah.
Actually,
Information does.
yeah, if you're an apartment owner, apartment manager,
Yeah.
you cannot force your tenants, but you can ask them to go ahead because they have to qualify individually.
Yeah.
But if you have rental property, that helps a lot in both ends. Not only the tenants that are paying for their own gas and water and electricity, but also the landlord that is paying for water of everybody. So I think it's a plus that we should let our constituents know about it. It's
So the
money
action-
saved,
Maybe
or
doing
energy
a brief
saved.
there.
Any money saved or energy saved in the long run will increase our footprint that we leave behind. So I think it's a big plus.
Just one quick question. The action on that is just to get a flyer of information.
Well, we could just make it actually, I was
There's
just
no-
like what
there's
he's
no
saying, it's
that
a neighborhood community concern that we should be able to put out there, whether we put it on our website, or we make poster and place it here whenever people come to our meetings or
All right.
anything like that. I'm not dictating or asking for any specifics, but just
Okay.
put the word out there.
Any announcements? Any announcements? Got any announcements?
Dun, dun, dun,
Okay.
dun, dun,
Well,
dun.
What do you got going, Buzzy? What's all the stuff happening?
Yeah, on Sundays, except this Sunday, not this Sunday, but on Sundays, Occupy LA has a committee called Occupy Fights Foreclosures. And those of us who are doing work around foreclosures around the city meet together to talk about what's going on and plan joint activity in support of homeowners. Lisa, I will get that information to you, some contact information on
Every
that.
Sunday they meet?
Yes, every Sunday except this Sunday. That, if you can share that with other people on our council, if they're interested in attending, they can do that.
Is it downtown or?
Usually they are held downtown. Unfortunately, they have not located a consistent place to meet, so they kind of rotate around, which to me is a big problem. But the fact is that this group has actually had considerable success in the past 2.5 months in actually delaying efforts to evict homeowners out of their homes and proceed with foreclosures through the banks. And in fact, in one case, Wells Fargo Bank agreed to stop a foreclosure proceeding against a homeowner, a veteran, Iraqi war veteran who had just returned home. And they're working with that homeowner now to try to keep them in their home. So I think
We saw you on the TV from Riverside.
yeah, okay. Well, yeah, and we've gotten quite a bit of coverage from the radio and
A lot of the radio.
local media also, and it's very encouraging. You all know that I've been doing this work now for 2.5 years in this area. This is the first time now all the groups that are doing work around foreclosure are beginning to work together around it, number one, and number two, quite a few homeowners throughout the area are going to approach us now because they see this motion taking place.
Yeah.
And we're actually beginning to get some things organized with homeowners in this town. So I'm very pleased with it, and I'll get that information to you. I would encourage folks who are interested in that, whether they're members of our local council or just community members, to check that out and to be supportive. I mean, when homeowners are being unjustly deprived of their investments in their home and their community, to respond and show some support, because it has proven to be helpful.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
So, no.
Second.
Second.
Okay, cool. All right, everybody. Have a great Easter.
Happy Easter.